Hi, my name is Kendra, and I'm going to be discussing the perception of myself versus the reality check I got. In a interview I did with Nurse Dixon, I noticed that my communication skills are not where I expected them to be at. I see myself as enthusiastic. I see myself as open. I see myself as focused and organized. But as I rewatched the video, I was none of those things. I learned that I need to practice more. Organization is key. And even though I've written everything down in an order, when I was trying to verbally express that it wasn't coming out in that order, we were jumping around from communication back to background, back to nursing, all at the same time. When she was talking about her general background, I noticed we had a lot of things in common. We both grew up in Maryland. We were around the same age. Our gender communication, we both females. And I noticed that I didn't express those things to her. I basically just asked the questions and listened. I know I'm a great listener, but my communication, I feel as though it's only really expressed with someone I personally know. And another thing I would say I learned is the method of trying to get the problem out and then the solution was not really active in my interview. It was more so giving the vibe of, this is a project, can you help me complete the project and finish the project? All of your answers will be correct. Even though she was second guessing herself, that gets me to the language also. Her body language was, she kept looking in her phone, she kept looking down, she wasn't really giving me eye contact. And I don't know if it was because I was asking her basic questions or if it was because she felt as though this wasn't a real interview, it was just something she was helping me with. I knew her personally, I was one of her patients before, and I had mentioned that she had great communication, and so she looked at all of her answers was going to be a stepping stone for me, which they were. That's why I piggyback to the method, preparing and organization, because if I would have looked at it from, instead of preparing a report, it's that instead of preparing a report, but preparing it as, this is a lesson that's going to help me progress. I need to take notes and I need to be open and attentive. Then I would have maybe understood the concept a little more. And then I did do the project a little wrong. I was more so did an outline, went and asked the questions, and then did my report when I should have did a little bit of research before doing my interview. Another thing I would say I need to work on with my confidence. Every time she looked at her phone, I felt as though I needed to look at the reflection. I need to look away instead of just being focused and paying attention to her and what she was saying. I was a little bit focused on myself and if I was doing the right thing in the interview. So I would basically say I learned that organization, body language, the way you verbally get things out is a little bit more complicated than when you write things down and give it to someone to read and understand. I also noticed that the interview wasn't my best of me, but I noticed the things that I need to fix. I had asked one of my big cousins to look over it. She ended up getting me in contact with another one of my cousins that's a nurse practitioner, and I could go into depth of the questions that I had about how do you juggle everyday work ethics versus things you got to take care of at home, juggling just between work and home, which is something I have a big problem with. How I know I always step in other shoes, but how to really live in their shoes without my own opinion is something I want to piggyback on. So in conclusion, I learned that I'm more of a written person than a verbal. My communication level was not where I thought it would be at, and that I need to practice, organize, and to really be focused on one thing and get the other things off of my mind. Maybe that will help me out. Yeah, thank you.